Hello, my love. Welcome back to the Growth Gang podcast. I have some very exciting things to discuss with you. First, I want to mention that I am launching something huge this week and I'm so excited. So today is Tuesday. Tomorrow I am launching to the email list. So if you're not on there, make sure you get your butt on the email list so that you can join. If not, just DM me and I'll give you some backdoor access to this space because it is going to be the most incredible thing. I don't want to give away all of the details yet. I know that's like the most frustrating thing to hear, but I want to leave it for the launch and to officially welcome you guys in. So that's the first thing, just to sort of like seed that in your brains that you're going to be joining an incredible space this week. So make sure that if you're not on the email list, DM me at _TheLilyHolmes on Instagram so that I can give you some backdoor entry into the space. It is built for online service providers and coaches, that kind of vibe. We will be chatting a little bit about online offers and things, but if not, we'll be chatting sales, socials, content, brand, all of the normal stuff that we chat about. So that's the first thing out of the way. Second thing, let's just jump into this episode because I'm so excited. I want to tell you about what I did over the last week, 7 days or so, that has just increased sales, which has been really cool to see. So for a bit of like backstory, in case this happens to be your first episode, I built a wedding flower business for 5 years. At the end of last year, I decided to close that down slowly, still in the process of doing that. And 2 years ago, I started my coaching business. And at the time, I was coaching exclusively florists. And then at the end of last year, at the time when I decided to close that events business or start closing it, still doing the steps, I also decided to start pivoting to online service providers and coaches. Obviously, I still teach and coach florists as well and all different people from different areas, but I'm sort of moving towards the online space because that's what I'm doing. That's what I know now. I'm in it 24/7, day in and day out, and it's really exciting for me. So that's sort of the backstory. At the time of doing that pivot, I closed down my original Instagram account, there was about 17,000 followers on there. A lot of them, bulk of it was florists, of course, because that was who I was serving exclusively. Then when I opened it up, I closed that account and then I brought a bunch of people over to my new account, plus have started bringing in some online service providers, coaches and stuff as well. So it's a very weird position to be in. I have sort of a new audience, and what I'm doing is actually treating myself like I am a beginner, which is kind of like, it's a bit of a head spin, but it's also really exciting because I feel like I better understand a lot of my clients who are in the very beginning stages. I'm in no way new. I've built 2 Instagram profiles. I know how to sell. I've sold and served thousands and thousands of women and programs. I've made a lot of money. I've done all the things before, but what's really cool is actually being able to go back to the basics and be like, okay, what do we have to do for trust building? What do we have to do to let people know who I am and what I do? What do I have to do to be able to establish my name within the coaching industry now that I've opened it up? I was sort of in my own little niche over here in the flower industry being a coach, and now I'm like stepping into this huge industry. So it's like, okay, how do I position myself as the go-to? So very cool thing being able to be like, okay, you're established, but you're also sort of playing beginner again. So I think this episode will be really cool if you are in a similar position where you're like, I am established, but I just want to see it go boom again. Like I want to see the momentum happening. I'm like so hungry. Do you guys ever get that where you're like, I have so much energy and I'm like so hungry for more, but I don't know where to like put this energy? This is what you could try out. Equally, if you are at the very building phases of building your coaching business, this could be a really cool thing as well. So it's going to serve a lot of you. So the 4 things that I'm going to run through that I did over the past week or so that have increased sales. Now, I want to put a huge asterisk here to say that it's not because what I did in the last week, right? I've been building this trust over weeks and weeks and months, and for my OGs, years and years and years and years. Right? I have over 100 podcast episodes. I've been in business for 2 years, in the coaching business, in the other business for 5. Like, it's been over a long period of time. So I want to advocate for making like money fast, but I also don't want to advocate for making money fast, if that makes sense. I want you to build it sustainably. I want it to be scalable. Let's jump into it. So the first thing that I did was I launched an OG offer. Now, what I did with this is I didn't overthink it. I didn't plan this extensive launch. I didn't even plug into my mentor about it. I was actually looking on something. It would have been either my photos on my phone or through my like Canva or something. And I saw the graphic for the IG audit, which I did years ago, maybe even 2 years ago when I first launched it. And I was like, I really liked that. And I felt like it was cool to be able to like sort of help people in a one-to-one, but not one-to-one. And I just felt like launching it again. So I literally just went, okay, let's launch it today. Let's rejig the graphic because things have changed a little bit. Let's set a price. Let's set some scarcity, some urgency, all of the selling stuff that I teach behind the scenes with my clients. And let's just launch it. And let's just have no expectation around it, but let's just do it. And so I did that. And what was really cool is that people started trickling in. Amazing. So cool. I got to work on them. Then, because I use scarcity and urgency and all of the different selling tactics and things and like selling on stories on IG, I had a whole influx of people 2 hours before the doors closed. Now, this is a huge, huge piece that I want you to take away. I had only a few people sort of trickling in at the start. Imagine if I made that mean the launch has flopped. I suck. No one wants to buy. Everyone's seen the offer and no one wants it. And then I stopped selling. Imagine if I did that. I wouldn't have got those influx of people and I wouldn't have been able to serve them either. So it's like, what are you making that start part of your launch mean? Because if you're in this for the long game, if you're in this for building relationships, not just making fast money, then it's like drop the expectation and just do the thing without caring what comes from it. As in, just sell without caring who comes in or out. Just keep showing up even if you feel like no one's listening. I'll give you a really interesting example. The podcast, right? This is the wildest space where I get to interact with you on a very deep level, as in we're going nitty gritty for like 10, 20, 30 minutes every week, right? That's a lot of close proximity, sort of like extended close proximity, but I can't see you. I don't know that you're there unless I get messages. In the past week, I've had an influx of DMs from people being like, oh my God, the podcast is amazing. Last week, I didn't get one. So imagine if last week I went, oh my God, no one's listening to the podcast, no one cares, and then didn't keep showing up. All of those people, all of you who has sent me a DM and is listening, I love you. Hello, welcome to my world. All of you wouldn't be in my DMs, right? So what I want you to take away with this is, one, you get to just launch stuff because you feel like it. Like you actually get to. And it's not from a place of like being leaky and not having a strategy and all of that, right? I did have a strategy, but I didn't sit here and overthink it and think about it for the next month. It's a low ticket offer. I felt like doing it. It lit my soul on fire. So I just launched it that day. That gets to exist. So it's like, how can you move faster? How can you stop overthinking everything, whether it's a launch, an offer, content, whatever it is, a campaign, changing your brand, rebranding, whatever it is, the quicker you can make decisions, the quicker you're going to time collapse and move faster. 2, drop the expectation of what's going to come, what's going to happen, who's going to move in, who's going to move out, doesn't matter. Just do the thing anyway. Do the thing anyway. 3, what are you making it mean at the start of the launch or just in general in your business? Say, here's another perfect example. Oh my gosh, no one's engaging with my content. No one's commenting. Yet you could have people in your DMs today DM you and say, hey, I want to do one-to-one. I had that happen yesterday. I could have easily been like, is anyone out there? No, I'm just living my life. I'm doing my thing. I'm selling. I'm inviting people. And then, here comes someone, right? There are always people watching. So what are you making it mean when content seems like it's slow, no one's engaging, nothing's happening, it's not moving, what are you making that mean? What if you could make it mean that there's people there? Even if you can't see them, there are people there. I promise. Oh my gosh, I need some water. Okay, number 2. This is a really interesting one, and it might be a little bit controversial, but I reopened one-to-ones. So I closed one-to-ones for a while, then I sort of started trickling them back in, and then I reopened them last week. Now, what's really interesting about this isn't my long-term game. My long-term game is not a billion one-to-ones. It's not scalable, really. It's not sustainable, really. Like, it is, but in terms of the one-to-many offers that I've done in the past and I love doing and I already have, I love them, right? Might still have like a few one-to-ones VIPs sort of behind the scenes, but I don't smash selling one-to-ones normally. But let's go back to the start, right? I'm building a new audience. I'm building trust with new eyeballs who haven't been in my world for the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years. They've just entered into this season of my life. I have to build trust with them. And equally, I want to know what they're all about. Like, I want to know what your business is about. I want to know about your offers. I want to know the nitty-gritty. I want to know what you're struggling with when it comes to content or selling or brand. It's almost like market research on my side, yet I also get to support and help my clients as well. So I reopened one-to-ones, and it is actually really nice just having a bunch of conversations behind the scenes. And I signed on 2 in the last week from just opening up one-to-ones. So this is where it's like, okay, what if maybe you don't make this next month of your life the most perfect, sustainable, scalable, whatever, and instead you're just like, okay, what feels really good? I'm going to launch an OG offer. How do I want to build trust with my audience? Why don't we open some one-to-ones? How do I want to get to know my audience even better? One-to-ones. So this is where it's like, sometimes it just might not make sense. It might not be the long-term goal. And this is where it's like finding that balance between, okay, I'm just going to sort of run with what feels good. Then you get to a point where it's like, okay, now I need to run with what actually makes sense as well. Again, this might be so controversial because if I heard this a year ago, 2 years ago, no, I'm going to say a year ago, I would have been like, nah, I'm here for the scalable. I'm here for the sustainable. I am, but I think it's just really interesting just seeing, okay, where am I at in terms of season, phase of business, audience, trust building, and how can I sort of just play with that? I think people make launching and selling and offers so much deeper sometimes than it needs to be. I'm like, I just feel like launching this. I kind of just want some one-to-ones. Let's just do it. And so I did, and sales came through, which is really cool. Number 3 is specific messaging, dialed in my messaging, which I am frothing at the moment, like so much. And the new space, let me just tell you, I'm so excited to dive even deeper into copywriting and specific messaging, because this is the thing that people have started DMing me being like, oh my God, you're in my head. Oh my God, that's literally me. Wow, it's like you're speaking directly to me. I'm like, I am. I am. I'm doing it very intentionally and very purposefully because I know who you are. I know what you want. I know where you are right now. And I'm going to help you go from A to B. And then I just share that through my copy. So the one thing that I want to sort of leave you with when it comes to messaging is just make it more specific. That's all I want you to do. So whenever you are selling, so say you go onto Instagram stories and you're selling your offer, how can you make whatever you're writing when you're selling so specific? So not just like you'll make more sales and you'll feel better and you'll have freedom. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What is that life experience behind the scenes? How can you start really painting the picture? I always say to my to my clients, I'm like, pretend you're like an author or a storyteller, you're like writing a movie script or something. Really paint the picture of what it looks like. I think primary school kids would absolutely nail messaging. Honestly, I think they would absolutely nail messaging. So that's all I'm going to leave you with, because it's kind of hard without going into the nitty gritty, but dialed in messaging so that your dream client is like, that's me. That's literally me. That is where I am. That is where I want to be. You've just painted that whole picture. I want in. You're the thing that can get me from A to B. Oh my God, if you can't tell, I just had a coughing fit. It is like so cold in my house, and I think my throat's just like trying to keep up. So number 4 is growth and sales content, not just one or the other. So when we think of growth content, it's things that sort of apply to a lot of people, and it's relatable, it's shareable, savable. It is maybe like trends or things that could go viral. It's speaking to characteristics of people. It's things that would really resonate with a lot of people. It's very like, I'm posting this not specifically for conversion, but more so for visibility, right? Growth content is for visibility. When we think of sales content or conversion content, it's more specific, dialed in messaging that's for the specific dream client. So it's going to be a lot of problem awareness. That's probably the number 1, plus like authority, educational and activational kind of stuff as well. That's really going to make them go, oh my gosh, that's my life experience right now. So you really need both. And what I found was I was leaning a lot into the sales conversion content, because here's an interesting fact. I built my last 2 Instagram profiles on, I'm going to say 70% educational content and 30% comedy, trending, viral content. That was my last 2 accounts. How times have changed, my goodness. So now it's like, okay, let's move not away from the educational, but let's just bring in the problem awareness and the authority, which I think just goes a step further than educational. And then let's also bring in the growth content, which can still be like the comedy, trending, viral, relatable stuff, but also like very brand specific as well. I think it's so interesting how much things changed. Like I used to do the most cringe, awkward, hilarious, ridiculous reels ever. Like they're so cringe, but I'm also like, I love that version of me because she just like put herself out there. And I think I'm going to bring some of the comedy, funny, stupid trends content back because it does land. And I think it's also fun because behind the scenes, I am a bit goofy. Like I am a bit clumsy. I am like, I can crack some funny like one-liners, and I think it's cool to show that. So that's the 4th part that I did. I did both the growth, relatable, trending stuff, and sales content, conversion content, problem awareness, dialed in messaging, authority, educational stuff. Both of which I help you just understand better in Master the Game. So if you want to jump into Master the Game, 100% do. Just DM me. I can send you some info. If not, then the new space that is coming, you'll also learn a lot about all of this stuff, which is so exciting, and I cannot wait to launch. So let's do a recap. Number 1 was I launched an OG offer. Didn't overthink it. Didn't plan this extensive, wild, crazy launch. Just grabbed the old graphic, shuffled it around, used scarcity, used urgency, created some hype around it, sold until the very last second. Number 2, I reopened one-to-ones because I felt like it and I wanted to connect with people, and I love that so much. So if you want one-to-ones, just DM me on Instagram. Number 3, specific messaging. Dialed it in so that it was even more specific. Not just like, you want to make more sales, here's how to do it. I just like went more nitty gritty into it, and I love teaching this and coaching my clients around this. Number 4 was growth and sales content. So even have a look and be like, okay, is my feed giving factual, educational? Let's play with some more personality, even content, connection content. So more of just like the relatable, like fun, let's connect with my audience. Let's just post for the sake of posting content. On the flip side, if you feel like that's all you're doing and you're like, my clients just aren't converting, like there's a lot of people commenting being like, yes, queen, like 100%, that's so me, but no one's actually buying, I reckon you need more problem awareness, authority, educational, that kind of content. Have a look on your feed and see which one you need more of. But I hope this helps in one way or another. Just some things to think about if you're wanting to increase sales and you're like, it just feels a bit flat and bland at the moment. How can you switch it up? Like just launch an offer because you feel like it. Bring back an OG offer. Maybe you open one-to-ones. Maybe you plan out a low ticket masterclass or whatever, a challenge, a free challenge. Like I've had so many free stuff, free challenges, freebies that I've launched, which has been really cool. It just like, it gets the blood pumping through the system, brings some momentum, and just also attracts new people into your world as well. I'm so excited to launch. I can't wait to see you in there. DM me on Instagram @_TheLilyHolmes if you want any of the links for all of the things, or if you just want to come and say hey and be like, I'm a potty girl and I'm here to stay. I'll see you on the next one.